Hello, and we are at it again, doing some Dota. So I played Spectre this game. I thought that this would be relevant considering the hero's current popularity. I don't know. That must just be a bug that it always looks like everyone's getting a tango. Okay, that's rattling. Anyways, yes, I played Spectre, and I thought it would be relevant, so I did a video. I started out with Ring of Protection, Stout Shield, Tangos, and Salve. I want to go into an early Ring of Aquila eventually, and most likely, and definitely an early Ring of Bassi. So that's why I got the Ring of Protection. I mean, alternatively, I guess you could go for that other item. What's it called? Iron Talon, but I'm not a big fan. Stout Shield because I might get harassed in lane, and two sets of regen because I wasn't sure how hard of a lane this would be. Ideally, you only want to get one, but I don't really have that good of a support this game. Our only support is Pugna, and it's likely that he's going to spam out the wave using his Q because he's a Pugna. So that's kind of expected, and a result of that is that I'm going to end up taking a lot of creeps. I actually thought that it would be a Windrunner off lane and Invoker middle. Instead, for some reason, they safe laned Windrunner and DK and mitted Disruptor. It was kind of strange. But what are you going to do? I want to go for an early Quelling Blade here because I don't know how to last it with Spectre, and I'm just bad at it in general. As evidenced by the fact that out of the first wave I only got 2 last hits. So this right here makes this lane really annoying. There isn't much I can do about this until I get boots, and even then, if Juggernaut gets boots at around the same time, he'll always be faster than me. And with Cold Snap, potentially I can just die to that every time if they play it correctly, so I need to be very safe. Missed the last hit there. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I only need to hit that creep once, not twice. I alter here to go into a missed another last hit. This is bad. Oh no, I got it with my dispersion. I wanted to go into a Poor Man's Shield here because I'm getting harassed quite heavily by this Invoker, and I believe he went Exhort. His orb's not showing up. Oh, there they are. He went Quas Exhort. Yeah, he did. So that's something I need to keep in mind. I'm already out of tangos, which makes this lane really terrifying for me. Missed another last hit there. Missed another last hit there. I got an early point in Dispersion, and then I think I'm going to go back and max Desolate. Just the early level of Dispersion makes me take 10% less damage, which is a pretty big deal. But in the mid game, you need Dispersion to be able to solo kill any hero. And of course, you want to max your Q because it's a good ability. It's your only real way to fastly farm, and also to do some magic damage early game to supplement your right clicks. So given how this lane was going, I actually thought about not going Poor Man's Shield and going to Vanguard. Eventually I do end up doing it. I just don't know if I do it right now. I'm out of regen now. I want to get boots, I think. This is super greedy. I didn't need to go for that Quelling Blade. I should have gone Ring of Bassi boots. If Juggernaut gets boots, they can just kill me repeatedly. I might not be able to get farm anywhere. And as expected, this Pugno is spamming the lane a little bit. 3 minutes in, only have 7 last hits. And their offlane Juggernaut has more. Their safe laner has more than me too. Part of that is that I'm missing last hits, and part of it is that it's a rough lane. They have a very easy way to kill me, which is a lot of what Spectre's weak at her early game, which is why you need to supplement her early game with a bunch of early items. I'm not sure if Radiance Rush is viable in just about any scenario anymore. Our mid lane's going fine for the moment. Tiny's doing pretty good, and Our Pudge is last hitting well in the top lane. I'm gonna bring myself out another salve here. I think I actually end up dying, but I think bringing myself out a salve was a good idea. I'm really not sure what I want to buy right now. I think going for that last hit kills me. Yeah, I missed it too, which is really depressing. There are a lot of potential item builds you can go on Spectre. I think the current favorite by Badman is Brown Boots earn drums and then into Yasha or Radiance depending on how your game's going, which is I like that build quite a bit. I think normally I would have gone drums over the eventual Vanguard that I go, but the value against DK, Windrunner, Disruptor, and Invoker, all who have relatively low right-click damage, especially when a Windrunner uses her ult, or specifically when a Windrunner uses her ult, I think actually makes Vanguard a fairly value pickup. Normally I'm not a big fan of the item. I think I've probably built it under 10 times in my entire Dota career. And as annoying as that is, I mean, it's okay that he's getting farm. It's unfortunate the lane is pushing because if he's his constant Q spam. If he was pulling, then that would be okay. But instead, he's being a very greedy player and spamming the wave out, which is expected. With Tiny coming in, we can get this kill. If he had spun right there instead of popping his Q, or his sorry, if he had popped his Q instead of using a Fairy Fire, he probably would have survived there. He might not have had mana. No, he did. Okay, I'm not sure why he didn't do it then, but he didn't. So go us. And they wanted to go for another kill. We actually thought that our jungle might have been warded. I'm not sure if it was, but it might have just been that Tiny was showing on the map. I was going to go Bracer, but I was running out of slots pretty quickly, so I decided instead that going for a Aquila was better. Just such a value item. Gives you attack damage, a little bit of survivability. And it finishes off with the Bassi, meaning that you're not taking up an extra slot for those stats. The mana regen is also super great on Spectre, who has rather low int and rather high mana cost spells. Another big plus, I think that if I had gone Drum over Vanguard, I would have needed to pick up an earlier Vit booster anyways to build into a heart. So I would have been even more slot limited, which is not the best. Not really sure what that Invoker was doing, but... at this point, if I get cold snapped into spin, I'm just dead. With 400 health, I'm just dead. And Juggernaut has Phase Boot, so he can just run me down. That's why I'm playing so cautious. Yeah, I was afraid that might happen. I try to juke into the trees here. Pop my healing salve. Really good rotations from my teammates. That was a big fight for us. Not losing me or Pugna, considering that he got a Omni Slash off on only us, not creeps at all. Really big value there. Great rotation in from Tiny and Pudge. Thankfully, Pudge decides not to lane tax me, which is super nice. And then I miss the last hit, because I'm fighting for last hits against Pug now, which is a little bit frustrating, but even so I should have hit it. Pick up my phase boots. Get a little bit of harass. There's no point in him using lifesteal there, whatever it's called. I don't know what I was doing up there. That was a bad move. I was feeling pressure to get last hits under the tower because I'd stopped pick up my phase boots. If I had instead just last hit while there was no heroes in the lane and then picked up my phase boots on the retreat, I think that would have been better. Would have been a better use of my time. At this point I decided that I can't keep buying salves. I need to actually get a Vanguard. I need the health regen. I know that eventually I'm going to have to jungle. I'm going to be forced out of lane, and that's really unfortunate that I missed the last hit. Makes me sad. And there's nothing really I can do. I should have been more aware of the Juggernaut moving through our jungle. We did have that warded. I just should have been more aware. We can take a look at the charts in a second. Pudge is doing pretty good. He's level 8 already, which is nice. And I'm near the top of the last hit chart. I'm not at the top, but I'm near the top. Considering the activeness of my lane, that's okay. I mean, 3 of our 5 kills have been here, and 2 of their 4 have been in the bottom lane. Dire has a slight gold advantage. Or, I mean, I guess 1500 is pretty big. This really helps. I'm able to use my ulti to come in for an early kill. Big advantages of Spectre and why you want to go early game builds is that you can do things exactly like that. You can be so active in fights without giving up too much farming time.
Башню сил света на верхней линии атакуют.
So Juggernaut immediately uses spin. I actually was hoping that our Spirit Break would stick around. We could have gone for that, but it doesn't end up happening. I'm glad I didn't go in. I didn't realize this Pugna was going in. Actually, I might have realized this Pugna was going in, which is why I didn't pick it up. I think he started out with 2 gauntlets of strength. We have Spirit Breaker coming in. Juggernaut's picked up a Mask of Death. Bunch of heroes bottom. At this point, we just want to evacuate that fight. There's no reason for us to fight into that many heroes when they all pop their ultimates, and we didn't have ours up. I feel like we're unable to fight this, and my ulti's up in 30 seconds, and I don't believe that we're going to need to fight before that time. So, or perhaps more to the point, I don't think we can fight without my ultimate. So I go top to push a wave and get some farm and XP, knowing that in 10 seconds I can come back bottom. I can inform my team of this, but they're unsure. Should be keeping a close eye on the fight right now. With Pudge committing suicide, I think they're probably going to back out. Blue gets gone on. Omni Slash got used. Pugna dies. With 2 dead and Tiny still mid, we can't fight bottom even if I had stayed around. Unfortunately, I don't get to do that much damage, but I do get to force them to back. Pull the creep wave with me, get some free farming time. Unfortunately, Spectre doesn't do that much tower damage, but in this scenario, I think it's okay. So at this point in the game, I really want to be just farming as much as I can, pushing lanes, all that kind of stuff, and also making sure that whenever there is a team fight or pick-off potential, I'm using my ultimate to secure that kill and then go back to farming safely. Juggernaut's here. He's quite farmed. We can take a quick look at net worth here, now that that winning stage is pretty much over. So he's, yeah, about 1,000 gold ahead of me. But I'm in second place, which is okay. Being in 2 kills really helps. Unfortunately, Pugna is just last hitting. I spam mode because I'm angry. That'll happen eventually, but more occasionally. That's another last hit. Good job, me. Now I can pick up my Vanguard. So at 15 minutes I have Vanguard and Ring of Aquila, which are just 2 items to help me stay alive in fights and be able to stay out in the map, which I think is a big issue for Spectre. She has no ability to heal or stick in fights. So I see a bunch of low heroes. I want to come in, and I knew that Juggernaut was going on the top, and I try to see if I can maybe haunt in outside of the static field. That doesn't happen. I was hoping Tiny was going to toss someone, but it's possible it was on cooldown. No, it was not. So he just didn't toss anyone, which is unfortunate. Would have been another free kill. I get the tower last hit, which is a pretty big deal. Our Spearbearer picks up a Midas. Probably not the pick this game, considering that we have probably a superior late game with Tiny and Spectre, but he picks up a Midas anyways, which might be fine. So because of all the early fighting that we're doing, I don't feel comfortable that I can rush a Radiance. I feel like it's likely that I die before I get it, and getting her late Radiance isn't that big of a deal on Spectre because so much of her damage is AoE. And due to their heavy right-clicking lineup, the miss chance stays valuable even later into the game. And of course, the added benefit of the fact that it is a phenomenal farming item. It also helps with the deficiencies Spectre has in movement speed. There's a ward there where a tower used to be. I'm a little bit scared. I only see 3 heroes on the map. I can certainly die. I miss my dagger. Unfortunately. Even if I had hit on either of the heroes, I don't think we could kill him. Or Tiny Dog uses combo. We don't have that much chasing potential.
Башню сил света на центральной линии атакуют. Башню сил света на центральной линии атакуют. Силы тьмы укрепили свои сооружения.
I really wanted this kill here, but he goes back too far and they're off the map. I'm a little bit scared. I actually thought this tower was dead, but I just ended up dying. I overcommit here. I think if the tower had been alive, I would have been fine, but even so, I underestimated Disruptor's abilities to pull people back into fights with his glimpse. Not a hero I run into very often. Very strong in team fights. Or I suppose more specifically at the end of team fights. "24 kills at 18 minutes. There's quite a few kills going on, and I've been involved in a lot of them. 8 for my team, 3 for theirs. So. And while it would be nice for me not to have died, I think staying involved is important, especially considering that my last hits are so low. I actually considered going in on that Disruptor, but I wasn't sure if there were more heroes there. I thought that our jungle was warded. It is. With them seeing me, DK must be feeling pretty pressured considering that he just saw Spiritbreaker charge. He does back up. He dies, oh, never mind, he dies. It was Juggernaut that was backing up. Very nice toss there. Unfortunately, as a result, I end up missing my dagger, but we still get the kill. And I guess the last hit, which is nice. Big part of that is the Desolate damage coming in. The extra damage to heroes that are alone is a very big deal. Informing my team that my jungle's warded. We do end up getting that kill. I don't think we should have. Tiny overstayed. If he'd got his spin off earlier, I think it would have been better. Disruptor dropped his combo, and at this point, I'm telling my team we want to back. I'm out of mana. My team's getting rather low on health, with 2 of our major damage dealers dead. There's no point in me sticking around for that fight with the chance of me just dying. Pick up another TP scroll, really very important to have as a Spectre. As any hero that wants to split push, I suppose. So now, at 20 minutes, I decide I want to go for Radiance. I think this is probably still fine. They're not so far ahead that not having an item for a few minutes is going to set me behind, and the benefit that I get from making sure that they miss 15% of their attacks is a very big deal in team fights, both for myself and my team. It also increases my farming speed, which considering I didn't go Midas, it's very likely that I could just fall behind to this Juggernaut that has a Mask of Madness, I believe. We can take a quick look at items. Yeah, he's got Jones' Mask of Madness. So not only can he fight very effectively, but his ability to farm is rather high. I thought it was farming the wave there, but with it pushed up so far and all of them off the map, I was feeling rather intimidated. It's 20 minutes in, we can take a look. We have a 15k gold lead and about 1,000 experience lead. It's still a pretty tight game at this point. Sorry about that. So without any vision on the map, it's really quite important for me to be able to judge where they are based on what I can see. And with 3 heroes on the map, and 2 of them in the bottom lane, farming that wave any further was a little bit intimidating. I could probably be mid right now instead of farming the jungle, both to defend our tower and also to gain more efficient farm. With DK showing up and the possibility of Juggernaut or Invoker being behind them, I think I'd still die. My team TP's in to farm and to defend our tower, so there's no point. We get to die there, which is super nice. So 2 minutes, or 3 minutes ago, I suppose, I decided I wanted to go Radiance, and I'm only 1,400 gold off of it. I wasn't really sure. I wanted to queue up my S and Y in case I got ganked, because I was about to go farm pretty dangerously. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to die, I could panic buy my Sanj and Yasha, which would be a decent pickup. It allowed me to fight a lot more effectively, and potentially also let me split it into a halberd and a manta at a later stage of the game. Not the optimal pickup, but if I was going to die, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't losing that much gold. Teamfight's happening in the jungle there, and I don't feel like we can do anything about it. We have both a visit disadvantage, and with one player just dead, I just want to apply pressure in the lane. Oh, what just happened? Okay, alright. Well, that was kind of strange. I probably could have got stunned there if DK didn't mess up, but he did, so got blocked by some creeps. I just want to take a look at my last hits for a second. I'm quite behind, but I've been involved in quite a few kills, so my net worth isn't lagging too far behind. And as mentioned, like only farming items. I mean, Yasha is technically a farming item because it does increase your move speed and your ability to move between camps. But no Manta or Battle Fear or anything like that. As you can see, though, the real value of this Vanguard is against the Windrunner ult and also being able to just stay on the map. I take effectively no damage from these creeps. I mean, not the little ones. And the big ones I regen very quickly. It also means that I can tank waves if I end up needing to cut waves to defend our towers. Not something Spectre would be able to do in most scenarios at this point in the game. Without a Radiance, that is. Closing in on my Relic Gold. There's a fight happening mid. With 2 heroes just dead right off the bat, potentially 3. I'm just not interested in fighting that. At this point, I definitely should have been in the bottom lane pushing the tower instead of farming the jungle. At this point, I feel pretty confident that Invoker can't just straight up kill me by himself. He'll need support, and I see most of their team in the mid lane. We have one ward blocking warding out our jungle, so it's possible for them to come kill me. Coming through from the mid lane, I feel like I'm fairly safe. So Invoker uses his spells with no setup or anything. At that point, I hear him invoke his Ghost Walk, so there's no point in me chasing the kill. We lose our mid tier 2, but with our Tiny just respawning as well as our Pudge, I don't think we could have fought before. I TP home because I took quite a bit of damage and I had lost most of my mana from Invoker. I have Relic Gold now. My team's fighting mid. I should have definitely been checking the progress of this team fight more often right now. So I'm like calling about to pick up a TP scroll. I'm getting all of those last hits. Not hard, but definitely important. So there's a fight developing mid. I should definitely have been checking that. I'll pop my ulti. I go in on this Invoker. This tower is potentially doing a lot of damage to us, so I wanna take it out. With my dagger down, I can't do much damage without my ultimate either. At this point in time, my team to back. We had a good fight, and there's no reason for us to overextend, and I believe there was a buyback. I don't know, Disruptor just respawned. I don't feel confident in our ability to go high ground. We don't have very much tower damage. I definitely should have been checking that team fight earlier. So 28 minutes in, I have my Radiance. Not great timing, but it's not so late that it's ineffectual. I do think that it's still a fine pickup. And my item build this game, I think possibly I could have picked up drums instead of the Vanguard. Would have saved me a little bit of money, increased my fighting potential, but I think it was an okay purchase. So there's just a bunch of deaths top. Just got caught out by Disruptor. Really big thing here is staying alive, making sure that I can get ahead in levels. Actually matters quite a bit for Spectre. And at this point, it became rather evident that I was going to need to become the dominant damage source and team fighter on my team. Purple just getting caught out here. He has a really good deny. I don't know how that happens against a spitting Juggernaut, but it was a good deny. But still, there's no way Pudge should have been there. Turn my Radiance off here. I forgot for a long time. I wasn't sure if he could actually get burnt. With a Blink Dagger, he could definitely find me in the trees very quickly. Chase me down. Take a quick look at the graphs here. So we're about even in experience, and we have a 1,000 net worth lead. I'm a little bit ahead of the Juggernaut, and me and Juggernaut are quite a bit ahead of everyone else, but there's the middle of the pack there is quite even. I get caught out here. I buy back and ulti in. With 3 heroes really low, I feel pretty confident that we can take this fight, me and Spiritbreaker. And as it turns out, I was right. He gets Radiance burned down to death. Pardon, that kills him. Sad. That's one of the best things about Spectre in the late game is that you can buy back Haunt in. You don't have a need for Boots of Travel. You can just come into fights, wreak havoc. And with 3 other heroes dead, we could probably take high ground now. Well, it is a rather big gold investment from me. It's just so important to have that man advantage and be able to kill some of their really important heroes. Disruptor and Moonrunner are 2 of their most important heroes to defend high ground. Juggernaut gets caught out. And at this point, if we get this Rax, the game's effectively over. With me being this far ahead and them not having that great of a late game solution to me, securing this line of Rax makes it really hard for them to make any headway later into the game. Quite low on health, but still getting this Rax is important. That was the scenario I was trying to avoid, is everyone feeding. They all buy back, and we don't end up getting the Rax because we dive too far. I think it maybe would have been worth it for me to stick around and kill those Rax, but with not having buyback, it's possible that they could just beeline down mid and end the game before I'm up again. That's why I choose to back up. I'm not sure if it was the best play, but it was a play. So with my team down for about another 30 seconds, I want to make sure that I can apply pressure across the map. Ideally, I want to make sure they can't get Roshan. And doing that, to do that, I suppose, is make sure that I can push another objective. And with my Radiance up, I can do that. At this point, I get a little bit scared because they're off the map, and me dying would be pretty bad at this point with no buyback. It would make that top fight effectively not worth it. You can hear the drums in the background. That means that they were popping drums. I thought they might have been Roshanning, and I believe they were. There isn't much we can do about it at this point, even if we wanted to. With no vision around the pit and no way to close the gap. I mean, I could haunt in, but I likely just die in that scenario. So I just decided instead to farm up.
Рошан убит силами тьмы.
I think the alternative would have been to encourage my team, quite strongly to go to the Roshan pit, but I just didn't think that was viable. We were just respawning when I thought they were going to start taking Roshan. It might have been the better idea. I think that if that fight happens, we probably win it, unless there's a very amazing ultimate from Disruptor that combos with the DK and the Juggernaut ultis to do a lot of AoE damage. I think we might possibly melt to that, but if we take a smart fight, it's likely we win it. So with no vision on their side of the map and all of them missing, I want to just kind of farm as safe as I can. Again, me dying would be quite detrimental to our team here. Without buyback. And with them having an Aegis, they could certainly just barrel down mid, win the game. We can take a look at the net worth and EXP graph. So it's about even in EXP. We have a 3.5k gold lead, which at this point is effectively nothing. You can take a quick look at items too, I guess. We just saw that Pugin picked up a sheep and DK picked up a Super Shadow Blade, whatever it's called. Silver Edge. Juggernaut has SNY Basher, Mask of Madness. A lot of early game items. He knows he needs to finish the game. DK went for a Silver Edge. I guess that turns off 2 of my passives. That's pretty value, actually. And from the looks of it, actually, you know what? I don't know what Disruptor's going. Maybe Lincoln's into Aghanims? I'm not sure. That must be it. And on our team, Pudge has a Force Staff and an Ether Lens. Not really anything. BKB up on Juggernaut, or on Spirit Breaker, and a sheep, as mentioned on Pugna. There's a fight happening mid. Juggernaut just instantly assassinates Pudge with his ultimate. And Tiny decides he wants to backdoor these. And we can just kill this DK here. It's worth trading our tier 3, even maybe our racks to even this up. Keep an eye on the fight where I'm attacking the rack still. I want to make sure that I secure it before I head back. I consider going on this tier 3, but I don't really do any tower damage, so I believe I ulti in here, yeah. I ulti in and I want to go on Windrunner or Invoker. Attack their backline as best I can. Unfortunately, I get pulled back by Disruptor. They decide to turn. Make sure you kill that healing ward. It really increases his survivability in fights. And now with the rest of his team backing, we just want to kill Juggernaut for a second time. A ridiculous range ulti from Pudge. I guess he does have his Aether Lens. I'm not really sure how I got that kill. Must have been from the Radiance Burn, but I'll take it. So I picked up my Manta, and I think about going hard at this point. I think I end up changing my mind and going Scotty. Yeah, I do. So I end up changing my mind and going Scotty, mostly because I feel like we don't have enough catch, as just evidenced by that team fight. I mean, we had 3 of them low, and we only managed to get 2 kills. We just have no way to really chase them down. So I want to pick up a Scotty to solve that problem. And with the Vanguard, I mean, I'm not super survivable, but it does mean that I'm able to stay in team fights and on the map a lot longer than I would be without it, so I don't feel super pressured to get a heart. And the stats, of course, are just very value on Spectre. Makes her illusions a lot tankier, makes her able to attack quite a bit faster. We pick off the Juggernaut. My team manages to do that by themselves, which is really good. Oh, we trade. Actually, we just trade. Yeah, Pugna dies for Jug. Oh, never mind. Pugna just dies. Jesus, alright, I lied. I'm not really paying attention, apparently. Just a bad fight.
тьмы лишили врага награды
When
за
under
башню
denies one of their bottom tier 2. Not that big of a deal at this point in the game, but it's still something, I guess. As you can see, the gap between my team and me is ever increasing here. That Midas that Spiritbreaker picked up really ended up paying off for him this game. He's able to stay relevant. He definitely would have had a problem with otherwise. With all the missing and no vision, I'm really scared. I still feel pretty confident that I can farm our jungle. They're going to push this tier 2. They're not going to come down here, I expect. And worst case scenario, I can always ulti out to the top lane and kill this disruptor. I was typing to my team that Spiritbreaker needed to be careful. Well, he is rather farmed. It's pretty scary. I wasn't sure if I could go on that. And with this Shadow Blade, he could probably just go away. It's not worth it for me to try to get a kill there. End up maybe being chased down. Remember if my buyback's on cooldown? No, so my buyback's off cooldown and I don't have the money for it, but I will soon. I think it's very important for me to save for buyback at this point instead of just buying out. As greedy as I want to be and buy this Scotty. Take a quick look at the charts here again. So experience is really even, which is good, and gold is still pretty even, around 3k. So if I had been able to kill him over here, that would have been a great bonus. But the real point of that play there was to make sure that they all came into the bottom lane.
Башню сил тьмы на нижней линии атакуют.
Making sure that they can't push out their top wave is pretty important at this point. I want to make them always scared of losing another set of racks. They don't have the best ways to push it out. Not terrible, but not the best ways. So there's a fight developing. I want to keep an eye on it as much as I can while still being able to push this wave. There's a chance I can ulti in.
Башню сил тьмы на нижней линии атакуют.
Creeps in the base. There's no backdoor. No backdoor protection right now. So two of my teammates just die, and there's no point in me really trying to hunt in there. They're coming bottom now. Put as much pressure as I can on that tier 3. Getting close to being able to buy back, or have buyback and buy the Scotty. Just use this to come down here. Probably didn't need to, but I should have been checking their items at this point, see if they had any big progression. We're checking Roche there. Obviously we couldn't see that in game, but with Didirin, even though he has his ultimate, or has Shadow Blade, I thought I might be able to get a kill here. And my Q will reveal him for quite a while. I wasn't sure if he was going to try to turn around. If he was, we certainly could have gone on him. He just gets caught out there with my team, which is really good. I send the courier to the secret shop. Probably could have sent it to their secret shop, but there's no button for that. finally sell my Ring of Bassi. I have buyback at this point, I believe. Yeah. Buyback is quite expensive, a little under 3k. Considering I'm nearing level 25. Pick up my Scotty. It's a good pick off there by Tiny. I should have had an eye on that top team fight right now. Instead I wanted to push this wave out. I definitely should have had an eye on that top team fight. No silences to break, I should have just popped my Manta style here. Scotty really coming in value here. He wanted to clear my illusions using his ultimate, or using his spins. We could ulti me. Doesn't have the damage to do it though. And at this point the game's effectively over. The Juggernaut buyback there, really unfortunate for him. Use my ult to haunt back in. Juggernaut with a broken model there. Source 2, please fix. Thankfully Invoker saves me from his EMP. And then I make a really dumb play here, and I miss micro, and I end up dying. The game is effectively over. Sorry, I can actually show you me feeding horribly. Yeah, I missed micro there pretty bad, and I ended up just dying in the fountain. Pretty bad play, but we have mega creeps now at this point, so it hardly matters. And I have buyback, worst case scenario. And as you can see, I'm quite far ahead in net worth. So we can speed this up a little bit. The last, Jesus, quite a few minutes. Pretty boring, actually. Something to think about this game. Some things to think about this game. So this is one of the few games that I've played recently that has actually been close. Typically, games are stomps one way or the other. It's really unfortunate, but this is actually a really close game, and I feel like I made a pretty big impact, and that's even with making a huge number of mistakes, as I pointed out. At this point, I just wanted to stay alive. I didn't want to die. It's unlikely that they could make a GG push, but there's no point in feeding if my team's not up to help me. I was pretty aware they were Roshanning, but there's no way I can fight that. So yeah, one of my very few close games, which was nice. And I feel like I played, decently well. Not great, but decently well. I think that if I had maybe made a few different item choices, this game could have gone another way. I think if I had rushed Radiance, we would have been in a very, very tough position a lot sooner. In the middle game there, we had a lot of, I can take a quick look, yeah, these just kind of get out of control. The EXP goes in the opposite direction because I hit level 25 and I just stopped getting EXP. But yeah, I definitely think that if I had made a few different item choices, this game could have gone a lot worse. And if I hadn't played as safe as I did, this game could have gone a lot worse. But things to focus on. I need to get better at last hitting. I need to pay more attention to team fights that are happening when I'm not involved in them. And I think that I probably need to be less split push focused and learn how to fight more. Yeah, definitely that. Alright, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment, find me, whatever. Peace.